The Tush Push lives. It lives another year. We thought the Tush Push would die. Diana Rossini put out on the Twitter this morning that she had heard through multiple different sources that two of the competition committees had decided to vote against the Tush Push. But then we found out that they made a mistake. I think she deleted that tweet too. The Tush Push lives. It exists yet another year. And we will probably go back and do this whole thing again next year as the league, most notably the Green Bay Packers, decide to weep some bitter, bitter tears. And you know what? Just get a little piece of bread. Slice a nice slice of a crusty loaf. Let's get a little bit of oil, okay? And then just dab. Just dab those salty tears. Tasty. Absolutely delicious on a wonderful Wednesday. The Packers have been left sad. They have been left embarrassed. Let's call it what it is. I think for the most part, people don't really care about the Packers that much. Like, the Packers exist in a market that doesn't have much going on, so it's just the Packers. And you go, oh, it's a fan-owned team, and you go, all right, Packers, a lot of history, but nobody really cares. Like, nobody gets really worked up about the Packers, right? When Aaron Rodgers was there might have been some getting worked up. When Brett Favre was the quarterback, might have been a little bit of getting worked up. But I don't think that many people hate the Packers. Now, in recent years with the Eagles and the Packers, a little bit of back and forth, there's like a little bit more hatred, a little bit more disdain. But ever since it was revealed a month or two ago that the Packers were the ones that were kind of leading this charge to try to outlaw the Tush Push, and by the way, not just the Tush Push, but pushing of any kind. So we're talking about players getting shoved in the field of play anywhere. As soon as we saw the Packers kind of put this out there, you got the pushback. Remember, we've recapped it on this show. You had the Sean McDermotts of the world, who, by the way, his Buffalo Bills team ran it the second most times in the league a season ago, but he's been talking about player safety. Oh, player safety. We're worried about the safety of the players. There's no data to prove or to corroborate the point that the Tush Push is unsafe or is any less safe than a traditional quarterback sneak or even handing the ball off to a running back. There's no data to support that. And yet, they tabled the discussion at the last meeting until May, very clearly trying to drum up enough support among the owners to go out and have this vote and hopefully outlaw the Tush Push. And I'll also note the fact, because we now have the list, at least per Adam Schefter, we have the list of the 10 teams. It was going to take 24 teams voting in favor of the ban, the Tush Push ban proposed by the Packers. It was going to take 24 teams to ban the Tush Push. They ended up getting 22 votes. Now, that is more than they got at the last meeting. It still wasn't enough to get them over the hump. But when we look at the list, you're going to see a little bit of hypocrisy. You certainly will kind of spot a few things that makes one think, did some people go back on their word? And you know what? Screw it. We'll go there first. We'll work in reverse, because as of this show going live, everyone at this point has to know the Tush Push will survive another year. I want you to see which teams ultimately went through, voted on this, voted against the ban, and vis-a-vis, I believe, deserve just a little bit of grace next season. I know that we like to boo everybody, but I think that the teams on this list, I think we boo a little bit less. And if they're in Philadelphia for a game, maybe we don't boo them quite as hard, because they've enabled the Eagles to go back to another season with, quite the backing here. So here are the 10 teams that voted against the Tush Push ban. So these are the teams that effectively align themselves with the Eagles. So it's the Eagles plus 9. So, of course, the Eagles voted against the ban. The Ravens, that one is interesting. Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry, big boy in the backfield. Connection there long-term, right? John Harbaugh, Eagles guy, okay. You got the Cleveland Browns, a little bit surprising maybe. The Lions, you could view one of two ways. The Lions could have very easily voted against this, knowing that the Eagles are probably their biggest competition, reigning Super Bowl champions. Could have really dealt a big blow to the Eagles by voting in favor of the ban. Instead, they vote against the proposal from their NFC North rivals, the Green Bay Packers. They vote against the ban. Jacksonville, good on Tony Khan and Shad Khan. Good on them. Great stuff. So now if you're in Philly and you're a wrestling fan, I think we all have to buy tickets to the AEW residency at the 2300 Arena. So I think that's what we have to do now. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. The Dolphins back it. Okay. The Patriots back it. That was interesting. Is that Mike Vrabel just saying that's hard-nosed football? Is it also that, like, they don't have to really worry about it because the only other team that tries to run it anywhere near the rate that the Eagles do is Buffalo, and we saw Buffalo get kind of shut down, we'll put it nicely, in the AFC Championship against Kansas City, so maybe that had a little bit to do with it. The Saints. We are going to thank the Saints because Kellen Moore, head coach, was the offensive coordinator for this team when it won the Super Bowl. We're going to give Kellen Moore a little tip of the cap. Now, in fairness, this vote that happened wasn't coaches, wasn't executives, it was the owners. The owners were the ones who ultimately voted on this, which we're going to get to in a second. So Kellen Moore maybe had a little bit of influence with his owner, saying, we're going to vote for it. Like, I would like to keep my word. The Jets. Why did the Jets vote for it? No one knows, but we'll take it. Thank you, Jets. The Titans. I didn't even know they still had a team, but they do. And they voted against the Tush Push ban. But there are 2 omissions on this list. Actually, 3 omissions on this list that certainly caught my eye. And I wonder if the 3 omissions on this list also happen to coincide with the fact that it was the owners who voted and that it wasn't part of the larger overall meeting. Now, there are 3. You should be able to figure them out. I'll give you a second because one was a very vocal supporter of the Tush Push, or at least about, like, if I would like to try to figure out how to stop it. This team is in the NFC South. This team has a coordinator, or has a head coach that was a coordinator in Philadelphia. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't follow through. That's all I'm going to say. All right, if you've given up, which you should not, but if you have given up, the correct answer is Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did not vote in favor, or they voted in favor of the ban. So Todd Bowles, head coach, has said pretty consistently that he thinks you don't ban a play just because you can't stop it. It's on defenses to learn how to stop it. So the Buccaneers, who we probably thought was going to be a vote against the ban, they ended up voting in favor. Okay, that's one. You say Todd Bowles is pretty removed from it. He's a head coach, whatever. Okay. The Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. You know, you go back to what Nick Sirianni said at the end of the season and prior to the last meeting where he said that, Gannon, Steichen, Kellen Moore should all probably vote for it because it in some way, shape, or form has had an impact on them having jobs as head coaches in the NFL. Okay. So Jonathan Gannon, gutless. Okay. Arizona, maybe they think they're going to compete with the Eagles, which is hilarious, but maybe they think they will. They vote against it. Okay. They vote against the Tush Push, so they voted in favor of the ban. But the one that really stands out here is Indianapolis, because Steichen's been a guy who has effectively, in a way, kind of confirmed that the Colts would kind of vote alongside the Eagles, that he's not against the Tush Push, and yet he's not on there. So there are 3 votes that I thought, if you had kind of polled me on it before the vote happened today, I would have said the Bucs, almost certainly because of Todd Bowles. I probably would have thought Arizona would have waffled. I did think that Indy was going to vote against the ban. So it was a margin of error of 2 here. 2 votes go the other way, and the Tush Push is banned. Now, does Nick Sirianni go headhunting after some of his guys that he thought was going to back their stance and go against the Tush Push ban? I don't know. He might. And why the hell not? So those are, according to Adam Schefter, those are the 10 teams. Eagles, Ravens, Browns, Lions, Jags, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Titans. Good on Kellen Moore. I mean, it is kind of crazy to think about, though, right? Like, this could have been, so it was 22-10, and it could have been, it could have been really bad. Could have been really, really bad. This got very hairy for a second. If you're an Eagles fan and you want the Tush Push, keep in mind, it wasn't a blowout vote.